My fellow citizens of the world, brothers and sisters of Africa, respected members of the international press, and those who still believe in justice and dignity, today I stand before you not as a man accused, but as a man targeted. I stand not as a thief of my nation's wealth, but as a guardian who refused to sell his country's soul. And because I refused, because I chose Burkina Faso over the demands of empire, today the so-called International Court has branded me an international accused. They have spoken of theft, of gold, of money, of corruption. But what they truly accuse me of is defiance. They accuse me of refusing to bow before Washington. They accuse me of saying no to exploitation. They accuse me of believing that the destiny of Africans must be written by Africans themselves. The charges laid upon me are a monument of lies, built upon the sands of political hatred. They say I have stolen from my own people, but I ask the world, what thief closes foreign mines, cancels corrupt contracts, and gives ownership back to his nation? What criminal builds schools, hospitals and roads, from the same resources he is accused of stealing? When I took office, Burkina Faso's gold mines were bleeding. Foreign companies extracted billions of dollars, while our villages remained without electricity or clean water. We inherited a system designed for plunder, where gold left the ground of Africa and filled the vaults of others. We changed that. We demanded transparency. We demanded fair trade. We nationalized where necessary. And because of that, we became enemies of those who once called us partners. The International Court has now ordered me to pay $1 billion, a penalty not written in law, but in the language of intimidation. This is not justice, this is economic warfare. This is the punishment of a man who said, Africa will never again be the backyard of the West. Let us not pretend ignorance. This case, this spectacle, this global theater of accusation, it was written in Washington long before it was staged in The Hague. When the United States saw that Burkina Faso was building new partnerships with nations of mutual respect, when they saw we were cooperating with countries that value equality, they began to tremble. They feared an example. They feared that the fire of independence burning in Ouagadougou would spread to Niamey, to Bamako, to Kinshasa. And so they created a story of gold and greed, to turn the world's attention away from their own crimes. They speak of corruption, but who corrupted Africa for decades with unequal trade and political interference? They speak of theft, but who has stolen the sweat and soil of continents for centuries? I am accused not because I am guilty, but because I am inconvenient. I am inconvenient to the empire that has long believed Africa must obey. But I tell you here, before every camera, before every nation, I will never obey lies. I will never submit to injustice. Sovereignty is not a slogan, it is a duty. When a nation chooses to stand on its feet, it must be ready to walk through storms. Our sovereignty has cost us friends in high offices, but it has earned us something greater, the love of our people and the respect of honest nations. They want to make an example of me, to tell every African leader, do not dare follow this path, or you too will be dragged before our courts. But I say this, the age of fear is over. No foreign court can judge the heartbeat of a free people. No document signed in a colonial chamber can define the will of Africa. When I walk through the streets of Ouagadougou, I see the faces of children who no longer believe that their future must depend on charity. I see young men and women who have decided that dignity is more valuable than aid. And that is why they target me, because the mind that is free cannot be enslaved again. They call it justice, but it is politics dressed in the robe of law. Look closely at the members of this so-called international body, who funds them, who appoints them, who directs their attention towards small nations and away from the crimes of the powerful. When war crimes are committed by those who wield influence, silence reigns. But when a leader of a small African nation nationalizes his resources, suddenly the machinery of justice awakens. The same hand that prints dollars, that destabilizes economies, that topples governments, now writes accusations against me. And yet, I do not tremble. Because truth is my only ally. Because history, not politics, will be my judge. Let them speak of conspiracies. I speak of realities. They have frozen our accounts, sanctioned our ministers, and threatened our allies. But they cannot sanction the pride of a nation. They cannot freeze the courage of a people who have decided to live free. To those in Washington who believe that Africa must forever kneel, I say you are mistaken. Burkina Faso is not your plantation. Our gold is not your property. Our land is not your laboratory. You may pressure institutions, manipulate media, and fabricate charges, but you will never erase the truth. If defending my country is a crime, then I will gladly be called guilty. If protecting our minds, our people, our sovereignty is theft, then I accept the title of thief, a thief who steals back what was stolen for centuries. But deep inside, you know the truth. You know this is not about gold, it is about control. You want to remind Africa who holds the whip, but this time you hold it in vain. The world is changing. The South is rising. The era of silent submission is gone. To the judges who read their verdicts from papers written elsewhere, I say, look within your conscience. You have made yourselves instruments of injustice. You have turned law into a weapon of politics. When you place a price tag of $1 billion on the head of an African leader, you are not seeking truth, you are selling it. Do you know the villages that money could build, the wells it could dig, the children it could educate? Yet you call this a fine, a penalty, a price of justice. No, it is the ransom of a free man. You may imprison bodies, but you cannot imprison dignity. You may silence my voice in your chambers, but you cannot silence the voice of a people who stand behind me. You may declare me an accused, but the world will one day declare you the guilty. Guilty of hypocrisy, guilty of double standards, guilty of betraying the very ideals you claim to defend. My beloved people of Burkina Faso, I know you are watching. Do not be afraid. Your president is not a criminal, he is a soldier of truth. I was born among you, I fought among you, and I will never abandon you. This trial is not mine alone, it is the trial of every African nation that has dared to dream of independence. They wish to humiliate me, but they will only strengthen our unity. They wish to isolate us, but they will only draw our true friends closer. Burkina Faso will not be broken. Our revolution is not for sale. Remember this. A leader can be accused, but a nation cannot be conquered when its people stand upright. You have given me your trust, I will defend it with my life. To the young men and women from Dakar to Nairobi, from Kinshasa to Khartoum, do not be deceived by the propaganda of the powerful. They will tell you that independence is dangerous, that obedience brings peace. But peace without dignity is slavery. When I see you, I see the new Africa, proud, inventive, unbreakable. You are not born to serve others' dreams, you are born to build your own. This accusation against me is meant to discourage you. They want to show you that resistance is costly. But I say, let them fear our courage, not our silence. Stand up for your nations, for your resources, for your people. Educate yourselves, innovate, cooperate, and above all, never let anyone convince you that your freedom is a privilege. It is your birthright. I will challenge this penalty through every legal and diplomatic channel. I will expose the irregularities, the political motivations, the lack of evidence. I will present our case before the world not as a defendant, but as a witness to the corruption of international power. Our legal team will move swiftly. Our allies in Africa and beyond will stand beside us. And if they shut the doors of their institutions, we will open the doors of our own. We will build African courts that serve African justice, not foreign agendas. Let this be the beginning of a new era, the era where the world no longer sees Africa as an accused continent, but as a continent of accusers, holding others accountable for the centuries of theft committed against us. To the nations of Asia, of Latin America, of the Middle East, who have endured similar humiliation, know that Burkina Faso stands with you. We are not anti-Western, we are pro-justice. We seek not revenge, but equality. We seek not isolation, but respect. Let us unite our voices and create a world order based on balance, not domination. Let us remind the institutions of power that the days of selective justice are over. Every nation, big or small, rich or poor, deserves to be heard with the same dignity. History is the final judge. It has buried the empires that once ruled oceans. It has silenced the conquerors who believed they were immortal. And one day it will bury the arrogance of those who think they can buy truth. When history writes about this moment, it will not say Traore was accused. It will say, Traore stood firm. It will say, Burkina Faso refused to kneel. It will say, a continent remembered its worth. And that, my friends, is the true victory, not in courts, not in penalties, but in the hearts of those who refuse to surrender their dignity. I will not hide. I will not run. I will not negotiate with lies. I will stand before every judge, every journalist, every nation, and I will speak the same truth. I have not stolen from my people. I have protected them. If that truth offends the powerful, let it offend them. If it shakes the false peace of those who live by domination, let it shake them. For I was not chosen to please the powerful, I was chosen to serve the people. To the International Court, your verdict will fade. To the United States, your conspiracy will fail. But the voice of a free Africa will echo long after your judgments are forgotten. So I end today with the same words I began my journey with. Burkina Faso will stand. Not in submission, not in silence, but in honor, in truth, and in eternal dignity. Thank you. May justice one day return to those who have lost it, and may Africa forever remain unbroken.